Okay, so welcome back to next tutorial. Now, in the previous one, we made the Hello World application, if you guys remember. So I guess you are all familiar with whatever is written here so far. And in this tutorial, we'll be talking about something called as character set, keywords, and identifiers. So let's get started with character sets. Now, a character set is basically a collection of all the symbols, alphabets, numbers, everything that a language recognizes, right? So in case of C, all the numbers from 0 to 9, all the characters from A to Z, both small and capital, and all the special symbols which we use mostly, the curly braces, the angle brackets, as well as the square brackets are all supported. Apart from these, C also supports the enter and the backspace keys, which are represented by special characters, which we'll be talking about in the next one. Right, so that was it about the character sets. Let's move on to keywords. Now, keywords are actually some special words which have a certain special meaning for the compiler, right? Which basically means that their grammar has already been defined. If we use such a word, the compiler knows what to do with it. So let's say I write int here. Now int is a keyword. So as you can see, it is highlighted or it is bolded, right? Let's say I write anything else. So you can see the difference. The keyword has been bolded, but this has not been bolded, right? So all the keywords in case of Dave C++ appear bolded. So a keyword is basically something which has a special meaning for the compiler. Whenever a compiler sees that particular thing, he knows what to do, right? Or rather, it knows what to do, whatever. So that is what a keyword means. You will understand what I mean in the next tutorial. Here I am just telling you the theoretical concept. So when we'll actually use them in a code, it will be very easy to recognize. And the next thing which we want to talk about right now is identifiers. Now keywords are something which are already defined. On the other hand, we the users or the programmers need to define certain special words for our easy reference, right? So those things are called identifiers. Now again, int here stands for integer basically. So I'll give a name to integer, say marks. So marks is something for my reference. It has nothing to do with the compiler. So that is why marks is called an identifier, and int here is a keyword, right? So that is what keywords and identifiers mean. Now since we guys have time, before ending this tutorial, I'll quickly tell you guys about constants and variables. Now constants and variables are basically both named memory locations, right? Since our program deals with data, we need to store some content and we need to modify it as and when required. So we need some special variables or constants for storing the data and manipulating it. So again, if I make one integer here and I say marks, now this is the exact same statement which I wrote just a while ago. So marks here is basically an identifier, and marks with some value is basically a variable, right? So marks individually refers to an identifier, but when we assign a value to it, it basically becomes a variable, which is an address in the memory somewhere which has the value of 1, right? So this is a variable because its value can be modified any number of times. If I go here and write marks is equal to 25, the new modified value of marks will become 25. But on the other hand, if I go ahead and I write something called as const here, so as you can see, const also got bolded here. So it basically means that const is again a keyword. Now the const keyword is used for declaring constants. So what this means is that marks is now a constant, so we cannot modify the value here. So if I go ahead and I say marks equal to 25, this statement is now invalid. When you try to run it, as we'll see in the next one, the compiler will show an error. It will say that you are trying to modify a constant, which is not possible, right? So once again, character sets are the all the numbers, letters, symbols which a language recognizes. Keywords are the special words which carry a special meaning. Identifiers are names given by users or programmers for their easy reference. Variables and constants are named memory spaces. Variables can be modified, whereas constants cannot. Right. So that was all about keywords, identifiers, and constants and variables for this tutorial. So I hope you understood everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one.